This meeting of the Littleton Licensing Authority will come to order. City Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Authority Member Bradish.
Here.
Authority Member Gunya.
Present.
Authority Member Odell.
Here.
Authority Member Cole.
Here.
Authority Member Mather. Here. Authority Member Gallagher.
Present.
Next item of business is approval of this evening's agenda. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 4, approval of minutes of the last regular meeting held on September 12th, 2012. Do we have any corrections or comments on the minutes? Do we have a motion to approve? I move we approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next item of business, liquor license cases. Item 5, scheduling renewal hearings for 4 different establishments. We'll take these separately. First being Blues Incorporated, doing business as the Break Room, 5151 South Federal Boulevard. Does the city attorney have a statement?
If it pleases the chair, I'd actually like to address all 4 together and just go through the process, just because this is a new process for the authority.
Any objections to that? I don't.
Okay, and I think as we become comfortable with it, we'll be able to move through it more quickly. So the issue before the authority is whether to schedule renewal applications for Blues Inc., DBA The Break Room, Toad Tavern Inc., DBA The Toad Tavern, Jaja Bistro LLC, and Champ Saunders Limited, DBA Karma Bar and Tapas, for a public hearing for their renewals. Just to give you some background, routine liquor license renewals are generally handled administratively under Section 3-2-16 of the City Code. That section states that the chairperson of the authority is authorized to grant renewals so long as no information regarding alleged violations of the Colorado Liquor and Beer Codes or Amendment 20 of the Colorado Constitution or violations of this code have been referred to him or her by the police department or otherwise. We recently revised the licensing authority guidelines to state that if the Littleton Police Department renewal report or any other information obtained from other city departments, for example, finance, indicate to the city attorney's office that there's probable cause to believe there's good cause to refuse to renew, the city attorney has discretion to place the renewal application on the agenda, which is what I've done with these 4 applications. The licensing authority then shall be provided with the renewal application, the renewal report, and any other information upon which I base my decision to place the renewal application on the agenda. No testimony will be taken, and the licensing authority shall base its decision solely upon the information provided. If you do decide to schedule the renewal application for a public hearing, it would be scheduled for the next public hearing date following notice as required by Colorado statute. I've placed the 4 applications on the agenda. I'll address them in turn. The first is Blues Inc., DBA The Break Room. That was based on the report received from the police department, which is attached. I placed the Toad Tavern Inc., DBA The Toad Tavern, for the same reason, the police reports that are attached. I do want to address Jaja Bistro LLC. There was a lien filed for taxes from 2011, and a copy of that lien is attached. However, the licensee has negotiated a payment plan with finance, and at the time of this agenda communication, they were current on all their payments under that plan. I did receive notice from the finance department today that the most recent, and I'll ask Colleen to distribute that to you, that the most recent check in the amount of $1,473.79 was returned due to insufficient funds. The applicant or the licensee then did come in today and pay by cashier's check $303.79 with an agreement to pay the balance either on Friday or Monday, and then there's a letter of explanation as to why the check bounced. It had to do with changing her bank accounts. So I'm not concerned about that, but the information is there for you. The fourth is Champ Saunders Limited, DBA Karma Bar and Tapas. This is placed on for several reasons. One are the police reports, which are attached for unpaid taxes and failure to file returns. You'll see that information from Eric Green. Finance Department did also file a lien in the amount of $3,313.79. That was filed today and recorded in Arapahoe County. I've got a copy for you. And as you'll see later on in the agenda, we also have this licensee coming before you for a probable cause hearing for possible violation of the liquor code.
This Jaja Bistro, their repayment plan was court-ordered, is that correct?
I don't believe it was court-ordered. I'm not sure how that came into effect. They do pay $600 a month, and they have paid it every month on time and are not current currently.
Okay.
If you'd like, I can take you through the standards for good cause. We've done that before, but if not, I will skip to the conclusions. I would recommend that you not schedule the renewal applications for Blues Inc., DBA The Break Room, Toad Tavern Inc., DBA The Toad Tavern, and Jaja Bistro, LLC for a public hearing, and go ahead and authorize the chairman of the authority to approve those renewal applications administratively in accordance with 3216. However, I would recommend that the authority schedule the renewal application for Champ Saunders Limited, DBA Karma Bar and Tapas for a renewal hearing for the next available hearing date, or should the authority find probable cause under agenda item 9B, that the renewal hearing be scheduled on the same date as that show cause hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I have no problem with Blues Bar or the Toad or Jaja Bistro, but I do have questions about how to handle Karma Bar and Tapas.
I would agree with that, Tony. I think we have two different examples here. One are the first three, and then the fourth one is a totally separate case. I'm prepared for a motion on the first three.
Yeah, I think the break room had a misdemeanor back in 2010 and doesn't seem to have any other problems, so I tend to concur with that. The Toad, I mean, they've had 4 incidents. 2 of them, there were no charges from the police or anybody else. One of them was somebody drinking nearby, and I have no problem with that. Bistro, they're going through trouble. They're trying to get caught up. They've got schedules. They're working with the city. And I think I commend them with that for trying to work through it and everything. When it comes to Champs, I have a question for the city attorney on Champ, and that is, if we do not renew their license, then there is no reason for a show cause hearing. Is that correct?
This is not a hearing on the renewal. This is just a hearing on whether or not to bring them back for a renewal hearing. So your motion today would be whether to schedule a renewal hearing later. But yes, on down the road, if you, after the renewal hearing, if you decided not to renew them, you're right, there wouldn't be. But the way I'd like to see it happen is that you have the probable cause hearing tonight, and then we bring them back for show cause, and we do the show cause and the renewal at the same hearing.
Is there a completed funded application for renewal?
Yes, there is at this, well, yes and no. An application has been turned in with good funds. but there are some questions as to the, how best do I say this? Some questions as to how honestly some of the questions were responded to,
There's some concern that there may have been some change of ownership, which we would want.
which was not notated.
But on paper, there is,
Yep, on
There's
paper, the
application.
application is
Okay.
complete and the fees have been paid.
When does their current license expire?
well, it wouldn't if they had a application in, right?
Right.
It doesn't
Once-
expire until we deal with the issue.
Right.
Right.
If they have an application currently in the renewal process, then their license extends through that renewal process.
Thank you.
What is the certified letter that was returned?
That was noted,
That was noticed that they would be put on the agenda for you to discuss the renewal, and it came back returned. There was no one there to claim it.
So we don't know that they actually received that notice.
We're probably pretty sure they didn't if the letter came back.
That's where I'm trying to lead you.
Mr. Chairman, do you mind, I would agree with the other members on the first two. On Jaja Bistro, I would agree that they seem to have things in order. I'm just curious if the other members feel there's any benefit in having them come in and explain, that they are current, or they intend to continue paying. I don't want to waste anyone's time, but I don't know if any of the other members thought there would be any benefit in us letting them know that we think that's important and that.
Are they aware that this meeting is going on right now and they're
Yes.
on the topic of it?
Yes.
yes, notice was sent to them, and I also spoke to the owner and the manager about this hearing tonight.
Okay.
I think the letter that they submitted clearly indicates that they're on top of it, fully aware of it, and working hard to resolve the problem that they have.
I don't think there's anything we can do to make them more aware of the serious situation than they already are, since they're making their payments and abiding by what the requirement is. So I see nothing to be gained in answering your question, Andrew.
And I'm fine with the Break Room, Toad Tavern, and Jaja having their license renewed.
Okay, let's talk
I would
about.
agree. Should we make a motion and
Should we?
should we make a motion to proceed administratively with those three? So
If you would like.
I move that the renewal applications for Blues Inc., doing business as the Break Room, Toad Tavern Inc., doing business as the Toad Tavern, and Jaja Bistro LLC be approved administratively by the chairman of the authority without the need for a public hearing. And I would hold the rest of the motion to see what we want to think.
I think it would be proper to have two separate motions for that. I'll second that motion. City Clerk, would you poll the authority, please?
Authority Member Bradish?
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya?
Yes.
Authority Member Odell?
Yes.
Authority Member Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Mather?
Yes.
Motion carried. So I'll sign the documents after this meeting. Now the matter of Yaya Bistro and actually just Champs needs to be taken care of with a separate motion. Let me read over the suggested motion.
Seems obvious to me that they ought to come in.
Yeah, there's no question about that. I think they've got some explaining to do, and we'll just call them in for a show cause hearing. Is that what it would be, City Attorney?
For a renewal hearing. For a renewal hearing.
Yeah, this motion would be for a renewal hearing. Down below on the agenda, we'll
Right,
That's
but
the
it'd be
issue.
scheduled for the next month unless in item 9B, after you do the probable cause, you determine that you want them to come in for a show cause hearing, then I would ask that we do the renewal hearing at the same time.
Can we defer the vote on the renewal hearing till we get to the show cause,
Right, yes.
So we need,
just to move on?
just to find probable cause to bring in for a show cause hearing. Other than that, if we do not find probable cause,
I would agree with that.
The way I drafted the motion was that it would go ahead and be scheduled for the next hearing, and then if later on tonight, if you find that there's probable cause, this will automatically then move the renewal hearing to the same time as the show cause hearing.
Would it be proper only, since we've already gone ahead and approved the renewal for the three, to defer any further discussion on Champ till we get down to the show cause?
You certainly can do that if you'd like.
I would propose we do that and move on with the application hearing.
I would agree with
and
that.
don't we need to find,
I mean, well, I don't want to get caught up, but it is on the, so since it's on the agenda, should we either just make a motion that they ought to come in, or we should make a motion to change the agenda? I don't want to get caught up on procedure, but.
Well, if necessary, I'll make a motion that we would defer just further discussion on Champ pending discussion on show cause hearing form.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Yeah, it sounds fine to me. I didn't see it on the bottom end of the agenda here, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Since we have all these people here wanting liquor license.
Let's poll the authority.
Authority Member Bradish?
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya?
Yes?
Authority Member Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Odell?
Yes.
Authority Member Mather? Yes.
All right. Next item of business, number 7A, liquor license application hearing for Best Foe 2 Incorporated, doing business as Foe 79 Littleton, 211 East County Line Road, new hotel and restaurant license. Is the applicant represented?
Good evening. My name is Chris Holchin, attorney registration number 8321. I'm
I'm
representing...
sorry, would you repeat your name again?
Chris Holchin.
Okay.
I can spell that if you like. It's KrisHoltgen.
Thank you.
And I have with me the two principals of the company, nicknamed Kevin and Mickey, Mr. Ha and Mr. Yin.
I'm going to have to interrupt you for a second because we have an exhibit that we have to deal with regarding speakers today, and there are none. So we need a motion to accept.
We do have a witness. We didn't see this.
Okay,
We missed the sign-up sheet, so.
Okay, would you
If
have
I-
your witness sign this sheet?
And in the meantime, do we want to hear from the city?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
What was the question?
Do you have exhibits you want to enter in the
Oh,
meantime?
yes. I'd ask that you accept into the record Exhibit A, waiver of hearing and objections to process by which neighborhood boundaries and public hearing dates are set. Exhibit B, affidavit of posting of premises. Exhibit C, proof of publication. Exhibit D, liquor authority communication with attachments. Exhibit E, petition information. And Exhibit F, public hearing sign-in sheet.
I'll move that we admit exhibits A through E. Is that
A
right?
through F.
A through F.
I second that motion.
I have an issue here. One of these exhibits lists the address as 211 South County Line Road in two locations, and that's not right. So
And where is that, Tony?
I'm looking for it.
It's East County Line Road.
Yeah, it's that one's east. Yeah, it's on the individual history record for Ha Min, no middle name, Mickey Ha. And it's also on the individual history record for Yin Young Peng Kevin, I guess.
I'll make note of that and
Okay.
make sure it gets corrected.
Other than that, I have no issues.
So I'll make a motion that we submit Exhibits A through E with the corrections.
Second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carried. I apologize for that. You can move on.
Oh, that's fine. Yes, we prepared our presentation. We're going to talk a little bit about the needs and desires and present the petition results. We have one witness, a neighbor with a business owner within the neighborhood boundaries, and then Mr. Yin is going to talk about the operation of the store, the qualifications, the applicant, things that we know that you want to hear. So our first witness will be Carol Johnson with Esquire Petitioning.
Good evening, everyone. You need me to review our procedures? No, okay. We did a total of 430 door knocks, of which 154 people signed the petition. 24 were ineligible. 24 declined to sign, and 22 were ineligible, and 244 did not respond to our door knock. We had 126 residents and 21 business owners or managers for 147 supporting the issuance for 95.5%. We had 5 residents and 0 business owners or managers in opposition for 3.2%. And we had 2 residents and 0 business owners or managers signing no opinion for 0%, for 1.3%. The reasons stated for signing in opposition: 3 do not drink alcohol, 1 felt there was sufficient number of outlets, and 1 either did not state a reason or it was a miscellaneous reason that does not apply. So the results of the analyzed on needs and desires basis only, we had 147 in favor for 99.3 and 1 in opposition for 0.7 for a total of 148 or 100%. If you have any questions.
You had 2 that were that one didn't give a reason and one.
Oh, there was 1 that did not give a reason. There was 3 that were
2 that were against alcohol. Yeah, we don't count those.
against alcohol. 1 felt there was a sufficient number of outlets.
Sufficient number, and the other one just didn't give any reason. So that's still not 100%. That's 99 point something, but it's not 100%.
It's 99.3.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Picky, Tony.
Well, it's true. I mean, I'm sorry, nothing's ever 100%.
Well, that's true.
We've had quite a few recently that actually have been. People want new business.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, not out of curiosity, but since you noted it, number I has 21 business owner managers, and she listed it as 13.7%.
Yeah.
It's really 13.6.
Okay, well, I'm not a math genius. I just know that if 2 people didn't like
Get
it,
into
it's
with
not
unincorporated
100%.
Arapahoe and on the map. I make them all add up to 100%. But it depends on where they, no, I round if it's over 6 or 7.
Yeah, but it was 13.6363. So you can't round 3 up.
He's an engineer. I don't know what he is.
I grew up with a father who was an
Probably a CPA. I have no problems with the numbers as far as I'm concerned. They come close enough to adding up.
Good with the numbers, too.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Has everyone had a chance to look at the signature pages, and are there any problems that you see with them? I looked them over. I didn't.
Nothing that sticks in my mind.
I know the right number.
I do have one question, though. On Kevin's application, it says that he couldn't find his naturalization papers or something like that. It was sometime in the 1990 range.
That's correct. So we substituted the passport. You can't get that without having
Get
the
a passport without being, okay, very good.
Okay.
These out-of-area signatures, they were just across the boundaries as we define those for you?
Yes, all the signatures were within the boundaries, right?
Because I look at
Well,
the
there's some
addresses, a
that
lot of them are on County Line Road, and apparently it's too far east of where the boundaries were defined.
The ones that were crossed out were the ones that, in that apartment complex that are just south of county line.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the other county,
Yeah, we
that's where they call it county line.
That would be in Douglas County, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
That's really out of the area.
I had a mad morning when I sent the people over there and didn't realize the line, but, so we did delete those, but they were all in favor of it as well, mostly.
Okay.
Well, that's not a big thing. It just jumped off the page, and I wondered where they actually were. So
That was my mistake when we were.
That is-
Going and I
Okay.
didn't back to those apartments. I was thinking that they were on county line, didn't realize that they were actually south of county line, on the south side of county line.
Oh, our next witness is a business owner that owns Clothing Exchange, Elizabeth Bloom, and Clothing Exchange is in the same shopping center as the restaurant. Elizabeth?
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Want to state your name and location of their business?
Yes, my name is Elizabeth Bloom. I'm at 311 East County Line Road, just behind Fa, or Fo, or Fa, however you pronounce it. But is it appropriate to approach the bench?
Why would you want to do that?
I'm going to give you my card because I'm a new business. And I want to
Leave them on the table up there and.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Gallagher.
You're here to testify in
Yes.
favor of this application.
I am. No, I'm here to promote my own. No, yes, I'm here to testify.
And do you believe that this license should be granted?
I do.
And what is your reasoning?
My reasoning is I'm a small business owner. These guys just set up their business 6 months after I did. They've been very kind neighbors, and it's, as I spoke with Mickey, and he suggested that the customers really, really want to have, wine and beer, and I think we need to make our customers happy to succeed. So therefore, I would like to approve that, or have you approve that.
I don't have any further questions.
How long's the restaurant been in business?
Since March.
Since March. I don't have any questions. The only thing that really came out at me was like Tony, the naturalization papers, but I guess I don't have an issue with that.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth,
Thank
for
you.
coming.
And leave your cards up
I will.
there.
We appreciate it.
Just so I understand that the business is in existence and it's currently open
Yes, it's been open since March.
without a liquor license,
Correct.
and that's the modification you want to do, was to get the beer and wine license. Okay.
Or the hotel and restaurant
I
license.
thought that's what I understood.
Right. Our next witness is Kevin Yin. He's one of the owners of the company. Kevin, why don't you tell the authority a little bit about you and Mickey's business background?
Okay. Good evening. My name is Yongpeng Ying. I go by Kevin. My business partner here, Mickey. My business background is I had a liquor store for 3 years in Lakewood named Atlas Wine and Spirits. I never had any violations. I currently own 2 restaurants, one in Aurora, one recently opened in March. That's the one we're applying for the liquor license. It's Pho 79. Mickey has a 15-year business, retail business background, operation in Denver. It's called a modern gift, modern boutique and modern hair shop. So that's our history.
Yeah, we both have business experience, and you owned the retail liquor store before. So.
Yes, it's Atlas. Yes, it was in Lakewood.
How many employees do you have at the restaurant?
Currently 11.
And what have you done about giving them liquor training?
Last week, all the managers, including the servers, have completed liquor training with Colorado Bar and Associates.
Is that the tips training?
Yes, it is. It's a tips training.
It's the
We'll-
Colorado Bar Owners Association.
Referred
And
to as a tips training. That's what we recommend.
Yes. The trainer for that association is TIP certified. And you and Mickey also took the training with your
Yes,
employees.
yes.
And I think you told me one of the advantages of joining them, and you are a member of the Colorado Bar Owners Association, was that they will give the training to any additional employees at no cost. Is that correct?
For free, yes.
So when you add employees, that makes it very easy for you to make sure that they're tips trained, correct?
Yes, it's very convenient, yes.
And you have a written liquor policy at the restaurant, and you've given me 5 of these policies signed by the employees that are going to be serving. And if I might approach, I'll...
Please provide a copy to the...
Briefly, the restaurant, just for the authorities' benefit in case, the restaurant is located where the old Casey's used to be, right?
Yes, that's
Basically.
the Oak Brook Shopping Center.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're located between Burger King and Waffle House.
And how big is the restaurant?
It's 5,100 square feet.
And it has a full kitchen, correct?
Correct.
And about what percentage of the square footage is kitchen area?
Approximately 30%.
And what used to be there?
It used to be China's Super Buffet.
And I think you said that the health department told you that they were really pleased
Yeah,
that
they
you
were
were...
thrilled that we came in and cleaned up and, yeah.
Ew, I
New
hate
paint,
that.
new furniture, brand new kitchen equipment. We really cleaned the place up. It's very modern. It's luxury pho.
Use that back up and go look at it.
Do you have a copy of your menu?
I do. Oops. Yes.
If I might.
You're not trying to make us hungry, are you?
Yeah. I'm going to get hungry.
And then we also have copies of the to-go menu, which have a little picture of the restaurant on them. Gives you an idea of that, which could,
We probably don't
okay,
need to see all of those.
okay, well, there's just,
I have a question on the floor layout.
yes.
There isn't a bar indicated.
No.
Do you not have a bar?
No, we don't have a bar.
Okay.
And we plan on only serving beer and wine, no mixed drinks, because we don't have a bar.
Second question would be, where will you store the wine? I understand the cooler is there for food, and is that where the beer will be also?
We have a cooler just before the kitchen. It's a waiter prep station. There's a cooler in there that's just, for now, it's actually empty. We were storing water and pop in there, but we'll use that to store wine.
Okay. What I'm looking for is the alcohol to be safely locked up when you're not open.
Oh, yes, it will be locked in our office. And in addition, we have a security system and 16-camera surveillance system.
Where is the office on this? Oh, okay.
There are 2 back exits. Are they locked or unlocked during business hours?
The boiler room is permanently locked because we have another back rear exit that's unlocked during business hour.
The reason I ask is because the cooler, and I can't tell about access to that cooler, the door, the rear door on the east if it is not locked, I am just curious as to, I understand it'll be busy in kitchen staff, but wondering about someone coming in there if it's unlocked and what type of access they might have to the cooler.
Yeah, I would need to look at the diagram too.
Would you like to see a copy of mine?
Yeah. Sure. May I approach?
I'm concerned about the detail of the layout here myself. I think what Mr. Donovan is,
This door, it's permanent. It's actually locked during business hours.
Permanent lock.
locked to the outside, but able to, like a crash bar to get out in case of fire or something like that?
That's easy. That is
Okay.
one of those push bar.
And then this exit here,
Excuse me.
this exit here is locked from the outside and available for any customer who's in a fire or something? Same thing, okay.
Okay, great.
And this one to the utility
Mr.
room?
Chairman, can we have him step back to the microphone for the record? Sorry, I
I'm
just
sorry.
can't hear you for the record.
Well, he answered yes to all of my questions.
Thank you.
This door to the utility room, you were saying that that's not, what's the situation with that? Is that where the boiler room is?
Yes.
And you can't get to the boiler from inside the restaurant?
Yes, you can. You can walk. Yes, you can. It's really easy.
Okay, well, this is my concern about the accuracy of the drawing, is you said that a second ago that you could or couldn't get to it.
Yes, you can get to it.
You can get
Yes,
to
you
it.
can get to it.
And this door is also locked from the outside
From the
with
outside.
a crash bar on it?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's no outdoor patio, so you won't be serving outside, is that
We
correct?
don't have outdoor patio.
Okay.
Now, this, getting back to the diagram, it doesn't show a door into the cooler. I'm wondering if the only way into the cooler is through the office. There's a door into the office, but none into the cooler.
I forgot to draw it on there. It's actually next to the door, next to the office to the door.
Oh, so there are two doors?
There are two doors. There's actually two doors into the cooler.
We can certainly correct that on the diagram.
Yeah, let's get a better diagram on that.
Are you, so just the cooler door?
Yes.
Is that what,
Well, my concern is let me have that back. Yeah, the cooler door, and I'm not clear on where the beer is going to be, where the beer cooler is going to be. You say the cooler that's on the drawing is for food only,
Correct.
and the cooler for the beer is going to be,
It's not on the illustration.
it's not on there. That would be nice to have.
Understood.
That's one of the main things we'd like to see, is to make sure that the beer and the wine is secure.
Thank you.
and basically the beer and wine cooler you said is in the waiter,
Yeah, it'll be right here in the waiter station.
in the waiter station?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, if we can get an updated drawing on that.
Very good.
How many employees do you have?
11.
And have they've all gone through the TIPS training?
Yes, except the kitchen staff.
So everyone that is going to be involved with liquor serving has taken the training.
Okay.
What are your business hours?
10 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have any further questions.
I have a question that's completely off the topic, but I've been curious about this for a long time. What does the word pho mean? P-H-O?
It means rice noodle.
Means what?
Rice noodle.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a lot of restaurants with that name in it, and
And a number behind it.
okay, now I know.
And yes, it's pronounced pho. I
Pho.
keep forgetting that. I always want to say pho. Pho.
Pho.
Pho.
Pho,
Pho.
rice noodles.
Does the authority have any questions for Kevin?
I don't.
I don't have any other questions.
I assume Member Gunya has read all the leases and...
Thank you.
I don't have any questions, and I just want to say I appreciate the fact that you've had a liquor license and haven't had any violations. I think that's great. So
Thank you.
it's good to see.
Just to summarize, I think that we've proven that the applicant is qualified to operate the business in accordance with the liquor license laws. We've presented petitions from 99.3% in favor of the application, and one business owner is an additional witness. So we would request that the license be granted.
Can we make a motion?
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, was there anyone from the public to testify?
Say again, please.
Were there any members of the public that wanted to testify on this application?
Did everyone hear that? Are there any members of the public that would like to speak against the application?
Or for it.
Or for it?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I make a motion that the public hearing be closed and a resolution of the Littleton Licensing Authority be approved, which grants Best Spa 2, Inc., doing business as Spa 79 Littleton, 211 East County Line Road, Littleton, Colorado, a hotel and restaurant liquor license contingent upon receipt and approval of reports from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and approval by the Colorado Liquor Enforcement Division, and based upon the following findings of fact. 1, that notice of the hearing was properly posted and published. 2, that the applicant has possession of the premises and the premises are suitable for the requested license. 3, that the needs of the neighborhood are not now being met. 4, that there's a desire of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood that the license be issued. 5, that existing similar liquor licenses in the designated neighborhood are not adequate. And 6, that the applicant and registered manager are persons of good moral character, record, and reputation.
Second.
Poll the authority, please.
Authority Member Bradish?
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya?
Yes.
Authority Member Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Odell?
Yes.
Authority Member Mather?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Your license application is approved. Thank you for appearing. We appreciate the information you gave us, and we're confident you won't be back before us anytime in the near future.
Or
Good luck to
future
you.
period.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, good luck, make a lot of money.
Okay.
Next item of business, item number 9A, was, I'm going to have trouble with this name, and I apologize. Vasilios Frangis, doing business as Old Mill Brewery, 5798 South Rapp Street, probable cause hearing. City Attorney, would you state the case, please?
Yes, this is agenda number 9A. The issue before the authority is whether there's probable cause to believe that Vasilios Frangikakis, doing business as Old Mill Brewery, violated the Colorado Liquor Code and Littleton City Code and should be scheduled for a public hearing to show cause, if any, why its license should not be suspended or revoked. This matter comes to the authority as a possible violation of the Colorado Liquor Code and Littleton City Code by the licensee following citation on June 29, 2012 at approximately 7 p.m. 2 of licensee's bartenders for violation of the Littleton City Code 3-2-10. The possible violations of the Colorado Liquor Code and Littleton City Code include Littleton City Code 3-2-10F, sale to intoxicated persons, Littleton City Code 3-2-11A2, conduct in establishments, Colorado Revised Statutes 1247-901, and regulation from the Colorado Department of Revenue 47-900. I would ask that you accept into the record the following exhibits. Exhibit A, proof of notice to the applicant, and Exhibit B, the agenda memo and communication.
I'll move that we accept exhibits A and B.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
I think we should poll the authority on the motion. Is there any discussion on the motion? Should please.
Authority Member Bradish?
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya?
Yes.
Authority Member Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Odell?
Yes.
Authority Member Mather?
Yes.
Well, this seems like a clear violation to me.
I agree.
Yeah, it looks like it is, and I definitely think there's no question that they need to come in and show cause why they shouldn't have a suspension.
I would agree. Is there any, do we know where the bartender or the bartenders, have they been to court?
I do have. Could you come up, man? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, the bartender or bartenders, have they been to court? Yeah.
City Attorney, this brings up an issue that we need to revisit again. Your recommendation is that we have the show cause hearing in December. Our next meeting is in November. You've allowed for a preliminary hearing to be held at our next meeting. This implies that there will be a preliminary hearing, and my understanding is there may or may not be, depending upon whether there's a stipulation. Is that correct?
The purpose of the preliminary hearing is if there is a stipulation that is reached with the city prosecutor and the licensee. The licensing guidelines anticipate that there will be a preliminary hearing, and so the procedure will be to always set a preliminary hearing and then a show cause hearing for the month after. The standard procedure would be that there would likely be a stipulation coming before you in November. If one's not reached, then I will remove that preliminary hearing from the agenda, and we'll just move forward with the show cause hearing, though still in December.
Well, what will we determine at this preliminary hearing?
At that time, you would hear the proposed stipulation, and you could vote whether to approve it or not, and to move forward with the show cause hearing the next month if you don't want to agree to the stipulation that was agreed to.
Well, why can't we have a preliminary and a show cause at the same time?
Because the licensing guidelines don't anticipate. That's not the way it's set up.
Because if we don't accept their stipulation, they need time to prepare for the show cause hearing.
Right. And if you accept it, then they don't need to go through the time and legal expense of preparing for it.
So in all cases, before we have a show cause hearing, we'll always have a preliminary hearing.
Yes.
So we all understand that.
Right. Because at this point, the city prosecutor hasn't met with the licensee. It's unclear whether she'll be able to work out any sort of stipulation or not, so we couldn't know at this stage whether there would be one. So we will schedule it anticipating that there would be one and giving her that option.
So this item on the November agenda could be very brief if there's not a stipulation.
Yes.
Thank you.
If they don't arrive at a stipulation, would it be possible to have the show cause hearing in November?
I don't believe so, because I would want to give them the full month to work on the stipulation, and the licensee would be anticipating to prepare for a show cause hearing in December, and I wouldn't want it to change the rules of the game at
Well,
some
the
point.
licensee is here now, and it's a month till our next meeting.
I will note that the letter they got said that they wouldn't be able to testify tonight, so I would...
Well, they're not supposed to testify tonight because this is a probable cause hearing. If we have a probable cause hearing and we determine it is a show cause hearing,
Yes.
they've got a month to prepare, or they got a month to negotiate, or they got a month to do nothing, but they still got a month from right now.
Yeah, oh, right. I didn't know if you meant...
I don't see the reason for dragging it out an extra month.
I don't
It's
either.
just my
Well,
personal
if I may,
thoughts.
this was the procedure set up in the licensing guidelines and approved by council. I'd ask that we try it and see how it's working and evaluate, but we haven't tried it. So.
Yeah,
This will be experimental, not etched in
Experimental,
stone.
that is what the guidelines say, but
this is an
you're
issue.
arguing it before it's even happened.
This is an issue that we have dealt with in the past. It's an issue the city council took up. It's an issue I testified against at the city council. However, it is an issue the city council directed that we follow, so we are forced to follow this procedure.
I think we're just trying to work out the details of how it should go. Tony's point is well taken, that if we're going to, I'm not going to go there.
I mean, I would just say if every time we spent 2 months on it, down the road, I think it would be worth going back to council and asking them to revisit their guidelines that they passed. But in the meantime, I do think that it would make sense to, for one, this is what we need to do. But I think it makes sense to, let's see how it works.
I think in this case, we need to move on, and as business after this, we can further discuss it.
Well, it was merely a question that I wanted explained, and yeah, we can revisit it, but I agree we should move on to the next item.
Can I make a motion?
So did we already approve the show cause hearing for December? Was there a motion to that effect yet?
I'm going to make a motion.
Okay.
I move to find that there is probable cause to believe that Vasilio Frangiskakis, doing business as Old Mill Brewery, 5798 South Robb Street, Littleton, Colorado, on June 29th, 2012 at approximately 7 p.m. did violate the Colorado Liquor Code and Littleton City Code. Based on these findings, I move that a public hearing be set for the 12th day of December 2012 for the purpose of considering the status of the brew pub license where the above-mentioned licensee may present to show cause, if any, the rights license should not be suspended or revoked, and further that notice of these findings and the hearing of to show cause shall be forwarded and served to the licensee in accordance with the provisions of state law. I move that a preliminary hearing, if necessary, be set for the 14th of November 2012 for the purpose of considering a possible stipulation, if any, between the licensee and the city of Littleton.
Second.
Discussion?
No.
City Clerk, would you poll the authority, please?
Authority Member Bradish?
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya?
Yes.
Authority Member Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Odell?
Yes.
Authority Member Mather?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Next item, number 9B, Sanders Champ Limited LLC, doing business as Karma Bar and Tapas, 5654 Prince Street. Probable cause hearing.
There again, I would concur with what Tony said previously on the other application. I think it's clear that there was a violation. It's clear that we need to.
Should we have, sorry to interrupt, should we have exhibits to?
Yes, if I may, I'd like to add, to ask you to make a motion to accept into the record Exhibit A, approve of notice to the applicant, and Exhibit B, agenda memo and communication. I would note that there is an additional possible violation of the liquor code that should be added to the agenda communication, and that would be Littleton City Code 3-2-11A4, in addition to the ones that are listed in the agenda communication.
And what is that?
And that's the tax thing?
Now, that that states, no licensee or employee shall employ or permit upon any licensed premises any employee, waiter, waitress, host, or hostess to mingle with patrons and personally beg, procure, or solicit the purchase or sale of drinks or beverages for the use of the one begging, procuring, or soliciting, or for the use of any other employee.
Can we put both of those into the same motion and into the same show cause hearing?
Sorry?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got two different items.
Yeah, I'm just
We can
asking.
cover them both in the same motion and in the same hearing.
Right, I'm just asking that you admit those two exhibits, but with that change in the agenda communication to add that additional possible violation.
I'll move that we admit Exhibits A and B with the addition.
With the addition noted by the city
I
attorney.
second that.
Thank you.
Vote. You vote on the exhibits. It's been admitting the exhibits.
Oh, okay.
He has a minute.
We need a motion to,
We have a motion, sir. We have a second to it, sir. We need to vote on it. Motion, second.
Second.
let's have a vote.
Authority Member Bradish?
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya?
Yes.
Authority Member Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Odell?
Yes.
Authority Member Mather?
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, you were reading something else.
I was reading the suggested motion.
Unless there is discussion, I will make a motion.
Do we have discussion?
I would agree before I interrupted you, sorry, that it seems obvious that a violation has taken place, so they ought to come in and talk about it.
I move that Champ Sanders Limited, DBA Carla Bar, and Tapa be scheduled for both a public renewal and a show cause hearing on the 14th of November 2012.
I second the motion.
Excuse me, wait, if I may, I'd like to have the preliminary hearing in November and then the show cause and renewal hearing in December.
It's the same as the other one.
I know. I know.
Would you like to reword your motion?
Do you anticipate a preliminary hearing in this case?
I don't know.
Have you been able to contact these owners at all? You've had registered mail returned, you've had,
We have been in contact with them, and there's a possibility that there could be a preliminary hearing.
okay.
We could have a renewal hearing in November and a preliminary hearing in November.
Well, except we haven't had the show cause to see if there is a liquor violation. Right now, we just have probable cause that there's a liquor violation. So that's why I'd like to see, for you to have the show cause hearing to determine that there was a liquor violation.
So you're saying we have to put the renewal violation off until December also?
Yes.
Why?
Meanwhile, the place is closed down.
Which, effectively, if everyone's concerned, I mean,
It is a little different case here because of the difficulty in contacting them.
Yes.
That it's highly unlikely that there's going to be a stipulation. In this case,
It could be that they could agree to get to hand over the license, and that would be the stipulation, and then there would be no need to have the renewal hearing or the show cause hearing, especially if they have gone out of business, which.
If you can contact them.
But I think the preliminary hearing in this
the
case,
license
I think in this case, the preliminary hearing
violation
does
would-
make sense because,
right, because if we were to deny renewal of a license because we thought a liquor violation would take place, that should happen in normal course,
right, that would be the cart
which
before the horse.
would include giving them the opportunity to come in here, represent themselves, explain why something didn't take place.
I suggest we follow the process that was put in front of us, as the preliminary and then the show cause. It plays out.
I agree.
your motion you're working on.
My motion was killed, sir.
I'll make a motion. I move to find that there is probable cause to believe that Champ Sander Limited, doing business as Karma Bar and Tapas, 5654 South Prince Street, Littleton, Colorado, on May 26, 2012, at approximately 10:30 p.m. did violate the Colorado Liquor Code and Littleton City Code. Based on these findings, I move that a public hearing be set for the 12th day of December 2012 for the purpose of considering the status of the brew pub license, where the above-mentioned licensee may present to show cause if any while its license should not be suspended or revoked. And further, the notice of these findings and the hearing to show cause shall be forwarded and served to Champ Sander Limited, doing business as Karma Bar and Tapas, in accordance with the provisions of state law. I move that a preliminary hearing, if necessary, be set for the 14th of November 2012 for the purpose of considering a possible stipulation, if any, between the licensee and the city of Littleton.
I'll second that.
Discussion on the motion. Hold the authority, please.
Authority Member Bradish?
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya?
No.
Authority Member Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Odell?
Yes.
Authority Member Mather?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Good vote, Earl.
Really?
Good vote.
So,
Thank you.
do we, Mr. Chairman, do we need to readdress the renewal hearing?
I believe we do. City Attorney?
Yes, I'd ask that a motion be presented that the renewal application for Champ Sanders Limited, DBA Karma Bar and Tapas, be scheduled for a public hearing at the same time, so that would be December 12, 2012. At the same time, it's a show cause hearing.
I'll make a motion that the renewal application for Champ Sanders Limited, doing business as Karma Bar and Tapas, be scheduled for for December 12th. Yeah.
You're right. I second the motion.
Yeah.
Discussion? City Clerk, poll the authority, please.
Authority Member Bradish?
Yes.
Authority Member Gunya?
No.
Authority Member Cole?
Yes.
Authority Member Odell?
Yes.
Authority Member Mather?
Yes.
Motion is carried. Next item of business, if any, is item number 18, reports. Any reports from the staff? Authority members?
Nothing other than our meeting yesterday, I thought went pretty well.
I agree with that. I was satisfied with the meeting. We just need to work our way through a couple of things at this point, and I think we know what those are.
I just realized I forgot yesterday. Have we heard anything about the vacancy? Do we know?
I talked to Wendy Hefner about that today, and they won't be recruiting for the vacancy until the end of, well, the vacancy will be filled the end of November. They'll start recruiting, or the end of January, I apologize. They'll start recruiting sometime in November or December. They just feel right now, because it's a alternate, and because we're so close to the next recruiting cycle.
And because we all have such great attendance.
Absolutely.
That would assume that there are no resignations between now and then. And
That is correct.
They do come as a bit of a surprise when they
Are
come
you trying to
normally.
tell us something, Mr. Chairman?
No, I'm not.
We cut off discussion earlier from a member on stipulations.
Correct.
And the discussion was, if I may relate it, was should we go back to City Council and request them to review the stipulation process?
Let's, since this is an experimental thing, let's give it a couple of months and see how this shakes out. I mean, I don't agree with the way it's going now, but I'm willing to give it a shot before we go to council again.
And I mean, like I said, I do have a concern that if there is a violation, someone's going to be allowed to operate for 2 months without any sort of penalty. But practically speaking, council did vote on it. I don't think no individuals on council have changed, so unless someone were to change their vote, and quite frankly, we haven't gone through it yet. So I would say, out of respect for council's wishes, let's go forward. If the majority of the cases are resolved through stipulations, then I think that saves everyone time and resources, and we'll see. If not, we could always.
I agree. City Council gave thorough discussion and consideration to the guidelines they've laid out. From what I can tell, there's a number of us that aren't sure about this process, and that maybe different authority members have different concerns in different areas. But this is the guidance we've been given, and I think the wise thing to do, the only thing to do, is go ahead and just watch this process unfold over the next few months, and as it unfolds, I think it will reveal if there are any weaknesses or things that we'd be concerned about to go back to council, or that council themselves might observe and want to do differently. So I think we should continue is obviously
I think
continuing
it's perfectly appropriate for us to have concerns about this. It's something new, and it could be, it could really change the way the authority operates, and that's fine to have those concerns, but I think we're here to follow the directives of the city government, and they're pretty clear. So I agree, we need to go through this process for some amount of time, and either we'll get over our concerns or we'll express our concerns more formally to the city council. So that's my take on.
I think the stipulation process is a good idea. It makes the licensee take ownership of their business. I'm willing to do this, this, and this. They're putting that out there. Now, we know that it looks like no one can enforce it. We haven't come across who's going to enforce it and how it's going to be enforced. That's still a gray area.
Let's clarify something, first of all. A stipulation basically means that the licensee, yeah, we did it, uncle, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. That's the stipulation. What happens after that is I'm going to do such and such and such and such to make sure it doesn't. Those are corrective actions. That's a business decision for that owner. That's got nothing to do with us, really. Now, if they say they're going to do this and they don't do this, we have no way, we are not an investigative body, we have no way of checking on them or doing anything. But if the violations continue and they haven't taken these steps that they said they were going to do, that determines a little bit more severity on the punishment if they're on the penalties afterwards. It takes time to shake out. And also with this preliminary hearing thing, in the past we've had to take a vote on having a probable cause hearing, and then the next month have a vote on the show cause hearing. So it's still a 3-month interval. But we shortened that up at one point because we had issues with a couple of establishments that would change owners during that 2 or 3 month period. And it's always been the rule on this board that the new owner can't be held responsible for the sins of the past owner. So they were all like partners, sort of, not on paper, so they were just handing it around and not serving any penalties until finally we caught up with them and gave them a stiff 2-week time off. So I don't have problems with the 3 months. It's just that I think that it's quicker if we do the probable cause, then the show cause, and it's out of the way, and they don't have to deal with that hanging over their head for an extra month. And I don't know how a business owner feels about that, but I'd rather have it done and over with.
There's one consideration about the stipulation that hasn't come up this evening, and that is the stipulation is like a guilty plea, but they also propose a penalty themselves.
Right.
And that's where we have an issue, that we may not agree with their penalty, although we would like to accept the stipulation, and that's where we got tangled up in the past.
Right.
And at this point, we don't know how to proceed in that case.
Well, at the last hearing, as a point of fact, there were indeed individual items. I think they stipulated actually through A through L, the tavern did. And a number of those were vague, and there was no way to understand if they had or had not met the individual obligation in that stipulation. And then there were some that we didn't have to check up on. They were demonstratable. One of those, which I disagreed with when it was originally entered, as I've said before, is that they would submit to the licensing authority a dress code. I saw no need of that, but there it was in the stipulation. This is something we don't have to guess at, Tony. They did not submit that. They did submit one, but they submitted it, I believe, to the police department. But it was in that legal document, the stipulation. It was to be submitted to us. The thing was, in that, it said if any of those were not met, that a show cause hearing would ensue. That was a part of that document. the show cause hearing did not ensue. I'm happy it didn't, but again, and I defer this for a third time to the city attorney, the question is, in a stipulation, it is, number one, a legal document. Is that my understanding correct?
Yes.
And that if in that legal document, items in that stipulations are violated, and that stipulation is that they will do these individual things, or they will come back and have to have us look at either suspending or revoking that license because they did not meet those conditions. Is that correct?
I'd like to ask the city attorney not to answer that yet until we address the item I brought up, which is the proposed penalties. What can we do about a penalty that they have offered as part of this stipulation that we don't agree with? Do we have to disapprove the entire stipulation?
Well, I'm looking at the licensing guidelines, and it says that the authority will consider whether or not the proposed stipulation should be accepted, rejected, or if a counteroffer should be made by the authority to the parties to the stipulation for their consideration.
Okay, that answers my question.
So we can make that here.
counteroffer.
We can make it right here, and if they're represented,
and then
or if they're here.
if they decline to accept your
Then we
offer,
go
then you
to-
go to show cause.
So it's not an all or
That was my
nothing
question.
stipulation.
I have an answer now. Thank you.
I have two
Okay,
questions.
you can go back and answer Donovan's question now.
Would you like me to re-ask the
So my
question?
understanding was that I don't do the stipulations, but my understanding was that stipulation was that if there was a violation, it would be handled like a show cause, where we would bring them in front of you for a violation of the stipulation.
Thank you.
If I could step, I think the authority has made it very clear the opinion on dress codes and those kind of details in a stipulation. If staff decides to be negotiating that and we vote against it, we have every right to do so. So, I think the authority has made their opinions on that known. I would hope that will work itself out in the process. I don't think the staff has any desire to negotiate stipulations that we're not going to support. The whole idea of is efficiency. So I look forward to.
I'd just like to find out from Donovan what you propose is the solution is. Now, I know that this is a supposed legal document, but it's not in the liquor code, and as far as I'm concerned, if there was any suspension or action taken for them for letting somebody in there with a biker jacket on or a hat on sideways or whatever the dress code is, that if we suspended their license for that, we'd be keeping these lawyers real busy.
But the
point, you keep bringing this up, and I don't know what your end game is, what end result you want out of this.
All right. It was stated last night, and I believe it was stated that we'd come to agreement that, for example, when a stipulation is submitted to us as an authority, and there is something there that we obviously can see that has no place there. That was an example. I don't think a dress code had a place there. They didn't say what it was. They could have submitted any dress code that was legal. I thought, and I said, you weren't on the authority at the time, I made a motion that those be withdrawn. That is how we as an authority can control that stipulation.
Which would come under a counteroffer.
Counteroffer. We can be just responsible enough to.
Right, and my point being, I don't think staff is going to come forward with things that, like I said, I think we made our opinion on the issue known, and if we have the ability to counteroffer, I don't see it being a problem that.
No,
I think one of the benefits of the entire tavern process was that we all learned something from it, and we're not going to make that mistake again. I think the city learned something. I think the authority learned something. I really appreciate Donovan's concern about this. It's not going to happen again. Everything that's happened in the past is documented, including your concerns. So I suggest we put this matter to bed.
Yes.
If I may, two things. Number one, on time-wise, we've assumed it's going to stretch out because we won't accept the stipulation. In reality, if we accept the stipulation, the time becomes shorter. Okay?
Right.
That's one point. Second thing, I have a question on the stipulation and the counter stipulation. Does it all take place at the same time on one night? If they make a stipulation next month and we make a counter, do they have to accept or reject it that night?
That's my understanding, but it says any party may make a motion to continue the preliminary hearing, and may be granted upon consent of the opposing party and a finding by the authority that there is good cause to continue the hearing.
Well, isn't it, if we have the preliminary hearing and they offer something that we don't particularly like, and we make a counter offer and they reject it,
Then you go to show
cause.
cause, yes.
I think it's pretty clear that that's the way it would go. In my business, which is real estate, when you make a counter offer, you have just voided the original offer, and your counter offer is the only offer that's on the table. So when we make a counter offer, their offer is not to be considered again. So the only thing they would consider is our counter offer. If they don't, then we have a show cause hearing.
well, I can see some negotiation happening too.
It's entirely possible.
I can see that happening, that maybe they want 1 day and we want to give them 5 days and then we settle on 3 days or something along those lines. So the counter offer wouldn't necessarily be the end game.
Well, it's not the end game. There can be a negotiation.
Right, okay.
What I'm saying is if we make a counter offer and they say no, then there is no agreement to either one.
If we make a counter offer and they counter our counter offer and we accept,
Yes.
then we're done. If we don't accept, then it's show cause.
That's right.
Okay, so that's a
There's
negotiation.
only one offer on the table.
Is everybody totally confused now?
I think at this point in time, a few people have a headache. And if I may,
I'm looking forward to the new
if I may,
process.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to approach a different subject.
You may.
And that is the status of our famous marijuana store. Is there any update on it?
On Canamart, or it's still in litigation?
Thank you.
Was there some other marijuana store that you wanted to tell us about? No.
And we want to know about the Alamo Draft House.
Yeah, are we going to have a movie theater?
January.
Yeah, don't you want to ask about the...
Yep, they actually just
I
submitted
don't
their
enjoy
renewal for their liquor license, which they haven't even used yet, but they're on top of it.
It's tough to have a violation when you're not serving alcohol.
Absolutely.
Are you sure those construction workers haven't been drinking beer on Friday afternoon?
Mr. Chairman, I suggest we go home.
As much fun as this has been, some of us are getting a little bit sleepy. So I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.